Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. Another fun-filled day. It's Happy to Hump Day. It's Wednesday. Now, I guess some of you might know that, or maybe all of you know, and the end result is that it's a 3-day weekend for us. We will be here on Friday, and I will broadcast on Monday. But the country is closed. It's Memorial Day, whereas a lot of you do May Day on the beginning of the month. We do Memorial Day, celebrating or honoring. It's honoring, not celebrating. Honoring the, uh, the wars across the world, starting, with World War One. It became, an event from World War One, the war to end all wars that seemed to having phase two of World War Two of it. But that's will be the U.S. will be closed, and you'll feel it in the trading probably by Thursday, tomorrow afternoon, going into Friday. It'll get slower without a doubt. People will try to turn it into a 4-day weekend or a 5-day weekend or something of that nature. Uh, let's see now. Let's get to what are we looking at here? Like this morning, as usual, we're looking at the Swiss franc, and also let me get the chat line up there so we can see if anybody cares to ask a question or two. You can see it's still heading down. That means the dollar is still weak, and you can see it just above it. Let's see, can you see it just above it? I can't see because I'm not on the chat line. There it is. I'm on the chat line, and now I can see. Oh, there's no questions, so that's not too bad. I didn't miss anybody at least, but I'm sad that no one's asking questions. As you can see right there, it is heading down, just like it is on the Chicago Quant right there. It keeps on trying to flirt with a daily buy. We tried it yesterday, failed at it. It's trying today. As you can see, it's turning up. We've got an up candle at the moment. This is Hinky Ashy you're looking at here, which emulates the dots, so it kind of you lose the perspective. But in the end result, you can see it's underneath here. It's been playing with it, also trying to get above, and then twice it's gone above with the sell going on. Basically, just like the way our daily buys did. Pretty much matching up. The only difference is Hinky Ashy's about 6-hour delay on it. It's because it has to average and look back, average and look back, average and look back, and I think it divides it by 4. And so what happens is it delays, it delays it by like a quarter of the day. Let's see, where else do we go from here? So yes, that is what's going on right now. The dollar is a little firmer than usual. Not usual, but a little bit firmer today. I think, did it close in the daily buy on the dollar index? Let's see. The ETF on line 20, where's it at? Where's it at? Line 25 there. Is that it? There it is right there, yes. It did close in the daily buy last night. It's still 6 weeks in a sell, but you can see right there, it is 6 weeks in a sell and 1 day in a buy. So it's perked its head up a little bit. We can take a look at it, see what it's doing at the moment. Let's see, where's it at? Let's put it up on there. Usually we don't even look at it. I always like to look at things through the eyes of, as I always say, we're Eurocentric when we look at something. So it went into the buy, but now it's showing a red dot. Let me just refresh that. And last night it was just a green dot. Let's see, where is it at? Oh, we got to scroll down again. There it is, reload. There we are. And so it pushed it into the buy, and you can see this morning it's pushing itself at the moment into the sell. And let's see, where's the weekly now? The weekly is still just minus. It was plus on Monday, and Tuesday it was holding firm, and now it is heading back into the minus. It's shrinking back down again. You can see there, minus 0.0133. So it's feeling the pain there. It's not really lifting up that much. All right. Let's see, where do we go from here? Let's jump over to the euro and see what the euro is up to. There we go. And on the fact check spreadsheet, I believe we're in a buy on that. So that's line 14, yeah. So that closed in a daily buy last night also. Let's take a look at that. Let's try it on J4X to start off with. There it is, right there. And while that's loading in, we'll go to right there. There we are, and you can see, it's holding up pretty well there. And you can see right there, it closed in daily buy. It's giving us a little volatility signal, and you can see it's breaking down a little bit right now. Again, the Hinky Ashies doing their things. You can see it's a red and a green, giving us that little warning that there's some potential volatility kicking out. That's usually what that accentuates or represents. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, and it's pretty much at the lows of yesterday at this point. We'll see how they hold up in here. It's looking pretty good. I mean, we see right here the white line is trying to pierce the time manifold. So, there's a little pressure there. Nothing major. And you can see here the daily white line has been firm for 3 days and doesn't seem to want to let go. So, good possibility this thing keeps on riding and this becomes the new support right in here until there's some type of issue. What is that? Day trader. Hey, day trader. Like 01. Like 01. Okay. What's like 01? Is that? I don't know what that is, but we can go look it up if you can give me a little bit more information on it. Michelangelo, day trader. I like that. That's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, if you can elaborate, we can go further on what like 01 is. We can try to go look it up for you, and we can take a look at it. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. All right, now let's go over to the British pound. That stayed in a sell. Right there. It was flirting with it during the webinar yesterday. That's line 13. You can see it's 2 full days now in a sell. Right there. And let's see what it looks like on J4X. Right. Oh, it's already on there. We got it on J4X. Let's put it up on here. Right there. And it's still in the sell. Like the opposite of the euro. It's been the white line has been under for the last 2 days. You can see that pressure there, but you can see the weekly's holding up pretty strong here. See it right there. Look at that. They don't even want to go down and touch the time manifold, which is curious in its own right. It does seem to want to, I guess the sellers are trying to sell, and you're seeing the pressure on it, but you're not seeing the price depreciation of it. We see this happen with our math. You can see it where things are getting pressured to go down, but they don't go down, but they're just down a little bit. And the weekly is telling you, don't worry about it. I mean, if the white line would break down like this, you see it right here, then you start to see pressure. You really start to see that selling mean something. But when the white line is hanging around on the upside, the curve tells you that there's some sideways action, without a doubt. But if it won't pierce the time manifold on the top here, the top one, let's see if we can do this. Let's go like that. If it won't pierce this one right there, the yellow, if it won't pierce that yellow line, then it's not really got a lot of conviction. We like to use that old word conviction. They don't have a lot of conviction. They're selling it, but they don't have a lot of conviction. They won't sell the kitchen sink, in other words. They won't just shove it out the door willy-nilly. And so that's what we're seeing there. Alrighty. Now let's go over to one of our favorites. Another story. He's done it again. He's blown out somebody else now. What did he do? President Aragon has gotten rid of... what did he do? He did something. Yeah, let's see if we can find it. Let me hunt down. There we go. I want to find the story. I'm hunting for it right now. I thought it was very curious. We're going to throw it up on the screen. Because I don't want to make it ever sound like I'm beating up on this guy or I'm saying something. I'm collecting it up now and trying to compartmentalize it so it doesn't look like it's running all over and everywhere. Discard, forwarding. But he got rid of another central bank president or something like that. It's like every time he turns around, I guess, he can only, this was a university professor, I think it is. Here we go. I'm surprised it's not exploding. I keep on thinking it's going to go to those dots, and more than likely it will if he keeps on pulling these, interchanging situations. Let's see, where's it at? Right here, I got it now. Let's see, Biden shut down Wuhan lab investigation probing origins report. What? What's up with that guy? Biden is like, says one thing and does another constantly. He's really weird. Very weird guy, Biden. Very weird. I always thought he's weird. He lives not far from here. I've always thought he's weird. I thought he was a very unfriendly person. Very, very nasty guy as far as I'm concerned. But other people think he's brilliant. I don't know why. Let's see, where's it at? Aragon. We're going to find this. Let's see. Not there. Not there. I saw it this morning too. He's gotten rid of, oh here, alternative vision behind Minsk now. Where is it at? It's a great story. I started reading it. I should have saved it. And what he did is he got rid of, like he did 2 months ago, got rid of the head of their fund or their central bank, and then he goes and gets rid of the one he replaced him with. Now he's gone. He just keeps on firing people. I wanted to see what the story was more, and I got interrupted, and I wasn't able to finish it, and I just don't see it. Let's see, Wapo, no. All right, what we'll do is we'll keep on moving along, and if I can get somebody around here to take a quick look at it and find it, we'll bring it back up. But he got rid of somebody else now, head of another, of his, of the central bank. He fired him now. So I guess they get fed up. They don't know what to do, or they, like the one guy took off with $2 billion, claiming he's going to give it back to the people that it belongs to. For some reason, the central bank seems to be grabbing people's money. They claim. I don't know. Let's jump over to the Turkish lira itself. There it is. You see the dollar. It had a red and a green there yesterday. And you can see it's just, if I widen that, you'll see it just perking its little head. There you go. It's perking its little head out right there. So it's pushing itself into the daily buy here. We're in the weekly buy. This is the dollar against the euro. And let's see. Where's that at? Let me just go over here. Oh, wait a minute. I think I found the story. Is this it? No, this is the... there was a really interesting story about tapering this morning I was reading too. What is that? That is... you can see it's holding up there. Now let's go over and take a look at the euro against the Turkish lira. And we'll worry about showing you Aragon's escapades. It's like the Aragon escapades, whatever it is into that day. You can see we went into the daily buy yesterday. Here, it's lower on the euro. That's interesting. And then over on the dollar, now that's the yen. You can see on the dollar, it's about unchanged. Just about unchanged. Still down a -2, like the way the euro is, but not as much. I guess that's because of the weakness we're seeing in the euro against the dollar this morning. So I guess that's part of the process right there. Let's jump over to the Canadian right there. You see that's climbed into the daily buy finally right here. Yesterday it was through there. It kind of couldn't get any legs because it had that little red dot. And today, you can see they're perking it up. But again, look at this. The white line is so low too on the weekly. Let me just, so I don't take it too serious. I mean, I know that there's weakness at the moment. If you're trading it intraday or, to a day-to-day basis, you have to be careful at the moment. It's climbing into a buy. This closing like that last night warns you that you don't want to be short, obviously, anymore. And you can see here, it was well worth the reasoning, but it wasn't an official buy because it had a red dot there. And then what's going to happen is you can see here the 2 days in a row with everything giving us indication of strength, and you can see now we're curving up a little bit, but this is the weekly. That's a lot of work to get it to this area here. It takes a lot of work. So we'll see if they keep on rising, then it will, and if it doesn't keep on rising, then it won't. And then here we go over to the yen. You can see the yen is battling. It tried the same thing as the Canadian, and you can see that too is trying to get up today. Let's give it a refresh. Right there. All right, now we usually look at the Canadian, and since it's rising, we're thinking maybe oil's moving back down again. We go over and we take a look at one of our new products we're watching, and that is the Euro Canadian. And that should be, so that's rising. So that could be pressure on the oil sector also. And so then we go like, and oh, this also can be moved over. Actually, this can be moved down. That went into the buy there, so it really is now a second day in a buy. And then let's go over and look at the oil sector itself. And there it is right there, and you can see oil is down, just a little bit, nothing major, banging up against that year-and-a-half resistance area there. We'll see how long that lasts. You can see here we've climbed right back into the weekly buy situation with no problem. You can see the green line is piercing the time manifold. Not only is it lifting, it's lifting with gusto. So, it says that this may be very short-lived on the sell side, and it might just bust through that line in there. Then we look at natural gas, showing strength. Went into the buy yesterday, and you can see today it's firm and also climbing even more. And it's been in that weekly buy. It's not even willing to challenge the weekly sell. So it looks like they're going to hold the natural gas in the buy all the way off and on, I'm sure, into the fall months, and see what the temperatures are like. If the cold temperatures are projected even more than what we already know, then this thing probably has a chance up in the 3.5 area again, and maybe even the 4. Anything's possible. Remember, well, you don't have to remember. I'll remember for you. But what happened was there was a fund, a major fund, functioning in between Canada and the United States, and for about half a decade, literally for 5 or 6 years, they had two funds. They had split their billions into two funds, and you didn't know that they were run by the same person. And so what they were doing is they were buying all the back months, which was forcing the front months up. And so they were holding on. They were making billions of dollars holding the market up. And then finally, in the end, when everybody found out about it, then they sold the oil down from the $7 dollar and $6 cubic foot down to the $2 cubic foot or $1.50 cubic foot. And so that's why it's so much lower historically. And that's what happened with natural gas. So natural gas on a run, I wouldn't expect $7, but I would expect $4 at least, because it was being artificially held up into the sevens, and even I think it got to 8 at one point. A long time ago. Matter of fact, if we go to J4X, let's take a look at that. I think that's well worth just taking a peek and see if they have the data in there for this. That's why I like using that J4X a lot, for that reason alone. There's natural gas. Let's put a monthly in there and see how high it will reflect. It was about 3 or 4 years ago this happened, and it woke up the oil market. Yeah, you can see here, there's 2018. Now this is the Hinky Ashy, so it's kind of not as reflective, but you can see that it was up into the sevens, and it was up that high, and it was being held that high for a long time. And then I think the information came out around 2008. Might have been 2000. Yeah, I guess it was 2000. I guess it was the early part of the century. It was held up for 4 or 5 years, and then it fell down to literally once the fund went out of business, because they realized that it was leveraged enormously to hold it up. He lost his billions and went bankrupt. And you can hold up a market for a while. You got to take that money and run and get out of it, and then let somebody else be holding the bag. Instead, they get greedy. What do they say? Bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs go to slaughter. And that's pretty much the story of it. And you can see it drove it down into the ones. And then, and then I think was it 2019? It popped up to the 5s or 4s or something like that for a little bit. Excuse me. And you can see here it's doing that stuff there now. Remember, this is a 4-bar average, so I mean it may have not seen 5s, but it might have seen like 390 something, 4 and a quarter, something like that. All right, let's go back to the daily there. And it had seen the 7s and the 8s back, in the first decade. For about 5 or 6 years, everybody was confused. Why is that thing holding so well? There we are. Trader, day trader, Michelangelo, day trader. You haven't informed us what like 01 is. Like 01. I don't know what 01 is. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to put it up on the screen. Is it an ETF or something like that? A stock? What is that? Is it off of Life? The Futures Exchange out of London. All right. Now, what we do is we've looked at the energies, and we go now to back over to the currencies themselves again. We take a look at yen normally, but we had jumped into the yen. Let's jump over to here. Now we'll take a look at where do we go? We go to the yen from the yen. We look at the ruble. Let's take a look at the ruble. Not sure how I slid into the yen, but we did. And the ruble's showing a little life to it here. It's been in a daily sell for a couple of weeks here. Been in a weekly sell for 4 full weeks, going on a 5th week. You can see the white line is trying to move up a little bit right there. And what else we can say about that? I guess that's about it. We keep on expecting to see this thing. Yeah, I mean, it's very anemic. It's not exactly dropping like the volatility we saw here. It would be really interesting if it would drop like that. We would be in the mid-60s right now. That would be kind of cool. And so it's just kind of like I want to say the sellers, or I guess maybe it's the buyers, but the direction down is very low in conviction. They don't have a lot of conviction for the trade. So, and I guess that's why the weekly is holding in that weekly trend. All right, now we jump over to the Mexican peso. Right there. And you see that's short-lived. It looked like it was trying to show some life in it. And you can see the white line is like literally rubbing the 0 line for 2 full weeks now. Or 1 full week, and this is the 2nd week. And you can see here the daily is pressing down again today. Let's refresh that. Did it refresh it? Can't tell if it did or didn't. Did it refresh it? Yep, there it goes. You see here, and the red dot is missing, but that's okay because this is right there. That's flirting with a daily sell at the moment. Now that's not showing a dot anymore. And so that was a sell. Let's move that over like that. Now we're seeing some more data has been plowed into this system. You can see there, that is a sell. Oh, that's interesting. So if that's a sell, then that's a sell, and this is a sell, and that can be eradicated, removed. So it's showing, the daily pressure on the downside here on the dollar per Mexican peso. Then we shoot over to where do we go today? We go to the South African rand because we're going to look at the metals complex from there. And it's still dropping, so it's like the ruble in some ways. It's not dropping fast and big, but it's just slowly leaking like a little rowboat. It's got a leak in it. It's just slowly taking on water, and it's very positive for the inhabitants in South Africa, because that makes their currency a little bit stronger. Let's take a look at, from here we go to the energy sector, not energy sector, I'm sorry, the metals complex. Let's go over to the metals complex right there, and I would say that gold is firm and up, and it is firm and up over the $1,900 area. Hooray for it. It's been a daily buy for a couple of weeks now. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You know, it's 14 days in a daily buy going on a 15th day. You know, we've been in a weekly buy for 2, 4, 6 full weeks, heading for a 7th week this week. The green line is way over the time manifold right there, which is the yellow mirror image thing going on. You know, they're finding ways to buy this, you know, to buy the metals complex again. I think, did we do metals yesterday? What did we do yesterday? Yeah, we did. We put an article out yesterday in the metals complex, how when you take a look at some of the other products, and I think I gave it as a practice on here on Dukascopy beforehand, and so you saw yesterday gold just showing incredible amounts of strength. And if you're trading all the other products, let's take a look at like silver. We put a chart up with the silver at the time also. Matter of fact, I think I can do this. Let's do this. Where did I put that? Put it somewhere. Here, I'm going to put it up there. And it showed, you know, let me put that chart up there. I got it around here somewhere. Where is it? Silver, platinum silver, there it is. Let's see if that'll do it. And let's view that. Yeah, there it is. And let's bring this up onto the screen here for you. Let's see, how do we do this? No, not that. Download? Oh, we download it. That's what we do. We go like that. There we go. Okay. Now, right there, we'll bring that up. See, that's the chart we put with it, showing how this product had been in a weekly sell, and if you thought you were, you know, and it was even in a daily sell, I think at one point. I didn't. This was just showed weekly, you know, how the pressure was on the product, and whereas on gold, you can see it just kept on climbing, and even on the weekly, it kept on climbing right there. You can see that strength, but the other products were showing weakness. Matter of fact, what was, you know, really ugly, let me show it to you. Right here. Right here. Where is it at? Copper. You know, in a daily sell all the way up until today, it's flirting with the buy today, and it playing with the weekly, and it touched it just, but didn't get into it. But then when you look at silver, you see the same situation. It was pressing down, and then it's trying to show strength in here, and it's in the weekly sell here, and it hasn't been the best of trades, and you can see it's trying to climb back into the buy. How gold has been the real indicator of the strength of it all. And then we went and looked at palladium, but we mentioned it in the article, but we didn't post anything on it. It had climbed into a sell. You can see it broke this into this sell here and couldn't get into a buy at all until right there, and then it went right back into the sell again 2 days later and broke down again. And you can see here today, let's see if we can refresh that. You can see that the continuity of it is still in the minus, but at least it's trying to lift up. But again, the gold is really leading that sector so well, and you know, it's like the primer in mathematics, so it's pretty cool. Just thought we'd mention that, and we had that in a magazine that we put things in. Maybe I should do that for. I know Dukascopy has stuff like that. We should do the Dukascopy one too. Articles. I'll have to talk to Janos and so forth and find out if that still exists. You know, I'm so much YouTubed it now, and I'm away from the website, and I really miss that because the website was, oh, what a beautiful picture. And the website is just, you know, it just, there might be a lot of people reading Dukascopy's thing, and we could put that in there. I'll have to talk to them about that. Yes, indeed. All right, so now, oop, put that wrong. There we are. There you go. And so, just beautiful. All right, let's jump over to, we're done the metals, and the South African rand really did show us the way, with this slow drift down. That means that money's coming into the country and they're buying, so they can get to the gold. And that's really what it comes down to. And that is where we're at. All right. Let's see. Now we've done the metals. We've done the oils. What do we do from here? I forget. I do it so naturally. I guess what we do is we go and we look at the cryptos, the new asset class, because in many ways, in my head, the cryptos are replacing the metals complex on some level, since the central banks and so that is where we're at on that one. So let's go over to the Bitcoin and see how that plays itself out. Let's see. Right there. And right there. And it's doing the same thing now. It's starting to join in. It's been selling down. I really don't believe China and the United States can have that much influence. Yeah, they took it down 50%. What a surprise. But as we showed you yesterday on J4X, the product is still up for the year. That's very impressive. And so that says a lot. And there's other cryptos that are even more up for the year than Bitcoin. So yeah, they could put pressure on it, but they can't knock it out, that's for sure. And you know what? If it's going to truly be a new asset class, it's going to have to go through these characteristics. They're going to have to do that stuff. But you can see it's trying to drive into that. Now, we're not seeing the weekly. Let's tighten that weekly up a little bit. The weekly, is it turning up? Not yet. Not yet. It's trying. Notice the histogram is higher than last week's. So we'll see if that gets some life and turns up into that area going into next week. All right. Then we look at, what do we do? We go over to here, is it? Stock combos? Yeah, stock combos. And let's look at Coinbase. There it is right there. And you can see Coinbase is trying. It's trying hard. Let's widen the weekly out there. Matter of fact, let's turn on the other parts of this. I've been exploring putting the second set without the. This is like the green line to the time manifold, which is very fascinating in its own right. And so, what happens is that you can see here the daily is coming up, breaking the time manifold here, the lower one, and going to the second derivative of it. And so, just like when it broke down here, it got ugly, and no doubt that it's not filled in from back here. But in the end result is that this product is really fighting to, get going on the upside. And I think this day here, was that a plus? No, it was a minus by minus 40. You see some of these numbers too. Minus 543. This one's like plus 348 today coming in. It's the 26th. You can see it's actually starting to take out the 343 and it's at 348 now, and it's taking out the 311. Let's see if they hold on to that. This is the daily. This is the gas daily, and we're going to save this too, because that's how we're rolling now with that. All right, so you can see the cryptos are trying to lift up in here, and then we go over and we take a look at the stock indices. Well, actually, we usually look at the futures indices, but you can see here on the stock indices, they've been in daily buys for days, lifting up. But the weekly went into a weekly sell last week, and the dailies just refused to join in. Let's go like that, and like that, and like that. There we are. Like that, and like that. Oop, there we go. Now, let's go over to Let's see, you can take a look at the Qs. There's the Qs there doing the same, pretty much thing. Oh, yesterday they pushed it in a sell. Interesting. So that went into the sell yesterday, right there. And now it's flirting with the daily buy again. But it's been in a weekly sell for a few weeks now. Ooh, let's move that over. Now this is the stock indices. We usually don't look at these. We just look at the futures. We'll go over and look at the futures too. Since no one's asking any questions, I'll just keep on exploring. Who knows what I'll come up with next. That's how I ended up looking at the on the gas yesterday. It made me start looking at something on the gas. I had forgotten what we programmed into it years ago. And let me just go back and show that to you. Where's that at? Right there, stock combo, right? Oh, I know it is right here. So on the Coinbase, using the two time manifolds, and it's interesting. It acts the same exact way as the gas line, except for it cannot go minus or plus. But what it does do is it looks at the minus or plus of the histogram. And so it's it's a really insightful thing. I've forgotten how good it is. So, all right, and then we just did the Qs. You can see the Qs are doing their battle there of in and out, in and out. Now let's what we could do is let's take a look at the stock indice again, because now I've got an idea. No one asks a question. I start to think, and you can see here it's the futures has gone in and out a couple times. This is a 24-hour market. It's in a weekly sell for 1 week. And then when we go over to here, the stocks, you can see it's also in a weekly sell just 1 week. But you can see it went into the buy here at the low and carried all the way up. That's the New York Stock Exchange hours. That's what that is. This is only traded 6.5 hours a day, in all honesty, or that's what it's charting. Actually, it's charting from 8 a.m. in the morning, which is 12 GMT right now, and it's 13 GMT at the moment. So it's been trading for an hour on here on the chart, and it'll go all the way to 15 or something like that, or 1500 or 4 o'clock. No, it can't be 15. So 12 GMT, and then 6 hours out. No, 8 hours out. 4 and 4, 8 hours out. So 20 GMT. So it goes from 12 GMT to 20 GMT, or 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So 8 a.m. East Coast time to 4 o'clock East Coast time, 4 p.m. So, and that's why this is sometimes a little bit more insightful. I watch both of them. And then you can see on the Qs, it went into the buy. Where did it do? It went into the buy here, I guess it was. That was a plus. So it went into the buy there. And then what it did is it went into the sell there. Okay. And so then when we go and look at the futures, where is it at? Futures, when we look at the Qs, you can see it went into the buy here like the way the S&P did. And then yesterday it went into the sell as a 10 minus. And I think it shows that on the spreadsheet too. Line 24? Line 27, that's what it is right there. No. So the S&P, it's not reflecting that. That's interesting. Is that a minus? Let's double check. I'm just going to throw that there and move it over. And then let's take a look at that. So they may have changed things. So that was a minus. Okay, so that went into the minus there, like the way Qs did. And now they're flirting with the daily buy as we speak. But they have to lose that red dot, so it has to get up higher. And so then when we do this, we zip back over to here, right there. You see that did the same thing, more accentuated. And I want to say we were in a buy from here at one point, but it's hard to say. The red dot is there now. I don't know if it was there then, but we'll just look at it this way here. So it goes into the buy here and zigzags all over the place and still stays in the buy all the way up until yesterday here. So it's the stock indice futures, which is trading 24 hours a day, sometimes shows a little bit different characteristics compared to the stock itself. There, right there. This is the stock. Both went into weekly sells at the same time. You can see that there. 2 weeks back. This is going a third week. And let's see, the stock indice trying to get through the weekly? Not yet. Not yet. They're both hanging in there, but not enough. So, interesting. All right, now let's jump over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And I got an email which was very interesting. They were saying that they're starting to wonder if these cap-weighted indices versus the Dow Jones Divisor Index is hiding the conditions of the market. I don't think it is, but I do like the divisor system more than I like the cap-weighted. Cap-weighted kind of keeps track of, gives more credence and value to the bigger companies with more volume in their stocks and so forth. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average has it all equal. All 30 stocks are equal. And so if one stock goes up $1, it's the same as much as another stock that goes up $1. Whereas when you're cap weighted, a weaker stock or smaller company, when it goes up $1, is not counted as $1, and then it might be counted as like 30 cents or 10 cents. And then because it's a capitalized weighted indice, and then say like a big company like an Apple might be cap weighted, like when it goes up $1, it might be considered something like $3. So it's not apples to apples all the time over there on the cap weighted indices. But that's the Dow. You can see the Dow's fighting to try to get into the buy at the moment, right there, just by its hairy hair, 17. And at the same time, it's been in a daily buy since here. Not there like some of the other indices. And that's curious, and we'll see how if they climb that up, and I believe that is the all-time high right there, back on May 10th. All right, now let's drift over to, we can take a look at the Russell, and you can see the Russell's been in a sell for a couple of days, and it's been in a weekly sell since back here around that 7th area, I guess the 10th area, basically. It's zigzagged and it's tried to get up and it's tried to go down. It's, it just does all kinds of wonderful little things. Goes into, was in a daily sell from here throughout that whole adventure, and then it gets into a buy right here. That was no red dot there at the time when we put that line in. So it goes up till right there. It goes into a sell the last 3 days, and it's just kind of sideways down. And that's the Russell 2000, which is kind of like what the old NQ is, or the Tech 100. The old Tech 100 was a very weak company type of indice at the time. They were way speculative stocks. They didn't really have a lot of earnings. They traded. I remember it took years for it to come back. It crashed the all-time high in 2000 on the internet bubble of 1999-2000. It crashed from 5,000 down to like 1,500 or 2,000 or something like that. And I mean, obviously, you can see it here now. And this indice is now like the same type, the Russell 2000. And you can see here, right there, it's trading at 13,690 something as we speak. This had crashed in the internet bubble from 5,000 all the way down to around 1,500, 1,700, something like that. And then it didn't get back to 5,000 again until like 2008 or something like that, or 2010. It just could not get going. And then, for 10 years it was underneath its all-time high when other things were making all-time highs. So that's kind of where we are now. Now that product is leading the whole world economy. It has all the top-tiered tech companies, Apple, Google, Amazon, Cisco Systems, everything that's making our society move forward every day through commerce. Microsoft, Intel. Let me think, who else in there? Tesla's in there. Nevada is in there. It just has, and it has biotechs in there too, like an Amgen and so forth, and it has all the technology companies uh, that are that are out there running our economy every day, making it move forward commerce wise. So, it's definitely something to be thought about, and how this particular indice now is literally like the index of the millennia now. It started the millennia off poorly. It crashed down to 1,500 or so, and now look at the thing is trading at 13,680 something. It's just an incredible product, and I could say the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at at that time it crashed down to say 4 or 5 thousand, but it came back and traded to we're looking at 35,000 now, or 34,000. I guess 34,400 something right there, 300 something. So which one led the way? Well, I can say this: this index, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, used to be only New York Stock Exchange stocks. It was a marketing tool for over a century and a half for the New York Stock Exchange. Now that the New York Stock Exchange is no more, and it's basically a subsidiary of ICE, the International, was it International Continental Exchange? So Intercontinental Exchange, something like that. And so because of that alone, this index now has 6 of the Tech 100 stocks, the top tiered ones. It has Amgen in there. It has Apple in there. It has, just like the Tech 100, Apple's the #1 stock in the world, basically. And Microsoft in there. It has Intel in there. It has Cisco Systems in there. I'm trying to think who the other one is. Let's see. Intel, Microsoft, Amgen, Apple. I'm not sure who the other one is, but there's another internet stock in there of the Tech 100. So it's a real indicative sign of a modern economy. This particular index, the Tech 100, as they call it over on, let's put it on J4X. Tech 100. Where are you, Tech 100? Right there. Alrighty, let's drift over to, what are we drifting over to? So we've seen the stock indices. Alright, so we're done with that. And we were comparing them to the equity indexes that, are just another, they tick for tick, they move together. The only difference is that the stock indices only trade 8 hours a day on the charts here, and the others trade 24 hours a day. So, let's see, where is it at? So 1/3 of the day. Now let's just take a look for, look at, this thing has been wild. They've been in a sell since here. It refuses to go down. That's the coffee contract. And you can see at the same time that the weekly's been strong. And I look at that, and I look at that, and I look at that, and I'm like, are they going to play it back down to here? And I thought this action was going to do it. Then you get these 2 volatility dots kick out. And look how they're starting it this morning, just making another high. Now, here is something that's very interesting. We're following this for a client called Tags. And what that is that still hasn't even updated yet. And what this is that this is a ETF, which is very fascinating. It trades corn, wheat, and soybeans, and you could have knocked me over with a feather. I speculated maybe sugar beets. That's what I was thinking, but no, it's sugar cane. I was trying to think what would be the next thing that should be in there commercially, and I thought, maybe sugar. So I thought maybe sugar beets, but no, it's trading sugar cane, and so it has those 4 commodities in it. And that's interesting. It's flirting with the weekly sell. You can see that. It went into the weekly buy, and it's really wild is that it's gotten into the weekly buy right here, in the what is that? The let me just double check what this is too. I think it's a super, right? Yeah. Okay. So it's not. It's just using the gas line 3. It's not using the super. We'll show you what it looks like with the super. There we are. And so you would X out the green line and just watch the the super if you were using a 5, it would have put it into the buy right here a week beforehand. I think it would have. Let's see. 6 is 0.03. Yeah, so it would have put you in the buy there. I might switch this over to the 5 altogether, and then you can see the. Let's go back and look at this. Since no one's asking any questions, I'll just do some research at the same time. So we look at this way back here, which is very interesting. And you can see what did it do? It went into the buy. Where did it go into a buy? So it was in a buy. It's been in a sell. I guess it was in a buy right here. So it went into the buy right there. And it went up. Now that's using the 3. In this case here, it went into the sell and stayed in a sell all the way. That's why we used the super in it. It stayed in the sell all the way until it went into the buy right here. Okay, so the super. This is really sloppy because they're not even happening here. So let's just put them in a bunch together like that. Move it over. We probably didn't update the back ones, but you can see it was still in the sell all the way up until here in the 18 area. And then it went into the buy right here. So now I'll move this over. That's interesting. And then fell back into the sell right here in September. That's 2020, I guess, right? Yeah. And then it goes back into the buy and there. And then let's see what it does then. Let's use the right mouse on this. This is interesting. What an interesting ATF. And it stays in the buy all the way to, and since we're using the gas line, it stays in the buy here still. It doesn't go into a sell. So it's not even in the sell here in November. It's still in a buy. So we can move this over like so. It goes into the sell, I guess you can say, right here. Let's do this. Let's move that out of the way. And go like that. So it goes into the sell there. And then if we were using the 5, it would have gone into the sell right here. You can see the little weakness that we had up in here. And then, so let's move that out of the way. That is what it should be right now. Then it goes back into the buy right here in the 3, which we're following. And in this case here, it's in the buy here. And let you take some of the longs out of it too at the same time. And then you can see it falls into the sell. This is February, so it's still in the buy. It goes into the sell right here. So let's just move that over like that. So it goes into the sell here and goes right back into a buy. Where's that? It would be this. I guess it would be this one right here. Move that over. I don't think we updated any of these things way back. Just quickly threw it together, which is fine because we're not showing our client that. But you can see here it goes into the sell there. Actually, it goes into the sell right there. And so it's in the sell all the way out into here. And then it's probably updated, yeah. So we can get rid of that like that. And it's in the sell all the way to here. If it was the 5, it would have gone into the weekly buy here, but that's all right. And we can leave this on there. I think I might start leaving that on there. And so that just as a warning. And then let this be the buy. And so you can see right there, that'll be we'll follow the 3. Because the 3 seems to be more accurate in this thing. And then now you can see it gave you a warning here that it was breaking down, but it didn't get into a weekly sell for 2 weeks later until now. It's trying to get into the sell now as we speak. You can see it hasn't broken down. But this is a very fascinating product. This is, like I said, this is an index of corn, soybeans, and wheat, and sugar. So that is fascinating in its own right. And you can see here, with the sell here, you would have been short right here, for sure, for this action. And you wouldn't even think about taking that little buy, which was a profit either way. and that's because of, we're following. That's why I'm following the 3 on it more. Interesting action here, very interesting. Just to see the warning of what the super 5 part of it is. That's plot 6 out of it all. So when looking at a gas line 3, you're seeing plot 1 through 5. When looking at a gas line slash super, and they tell you what they are, you're looking at plot. It's a 3 all the way to 5, and then plot 6 is a gas line 5 plot 1. That's what that is. So plot 1 of a 3 versus a plot 1 of a 5, and that's what that's what the plot 6 is. So that's an interesting indicator there. I like playing with those. They're interesting at times. It all comes down to the beta or the volatility of a particular product. That's how we decide how to use the 3 and 5, if you put them together or not, compared to normally you rarely see it. There's very few products we use on a daily basis like that. So, all right, traders, we will catch you tomorrow. This is Doc from North America, and I think today's headline is going to be, I think we're going to use this as the title, Tags ETF. The 4 commodities. I think that's fascinating. Maybe not, and we're a currency thing here, so that would be kind of negatory. We'll have to find another title for it. All right, this is Doc saying arrivederci. Catch you tomorrow on the day before TGIF. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Aloha, traders. Aloha.